I'd like to share with you some work I did with my student during our object-oriented programming course in the classroom. So basically what we did is I divided the student into groups, and I gave them an exercise to create a hotel management application where we have guests coming, we have room, assign guests to the room. There are services the guests can order, we add it to the room. We keep a report of what are the occupancy of the rooms and which one is vacant, which is occupied, and also we display the total bill. We check out the guest from the room and stuff like that. It's just a very basic application. So what we did, I divided them into group and asked each group to focus on one of those classes. We discussed what classes we need. We said we need a guest class, we need a room class, we need a room service class, we need a staff class, and then we need a main class. So they have done the work and it's working fine here, but I just made some improvement to it, and I would like to show you this. The objective is to better understand those relationships between those classes. So we'll go through those classes one by one, and then we will see how we came with the application. Now let me first show you how it runs. If I run this application, I'll get this window coming here. Let's see if we can make it bigger. So I have a menu here. One is create a guest. If I put one, it will create a random guest. So I created a guest where one last name is last one, and give him or her the age is 50, and this is his or her phone number. I just use random to simplify the demonstration. Instead of you waiting for me entering first name, last name, age, phone number, I made it coming random from the system, and you'll see that later. I can create another guest as well by putting one. Now I have two guests in the memory of the computer. I can create a room by doing 2, and now we have a new room created. 101 is floor 1, a garden view, and 2 beds in it, and the price is $100. I think I used, and then I can create another room as well, room 102, and so on. Okay, so I can create any number of rooms and a number of guests. I can now assign a guest to a room. I use number 3. It will ask me now, what's wrong? Did I do correct? 3 is a staff, so we created the staff. Again, we need another staff as well, maybe. So we can create any number of staff. Now we have maybe 3 of them. We can do one more. I don't know why I'm adding it. Now let's assign a guest to a room, number 4, option number 4. So now number 4, now it will ask me which guest you want to assign. So it's using the index here. I could have also used first name or phone number or whatever it is, but let's use just the index now to simplify. So guest 0, which is the first guest. Which room I want to allocate him to? Let's allocate him to room 0 as well. So we can see now assigned guest 1, that is age and phone number, to room number 101 in the floor. I can order a service for him. So number 5, let's order a service. And which room? We will choose that room, which room? 0. Now this details the service been added. I think the cost is very minimal, is $0.58 been added. Let's give him another service. See, the service in this hotel very cheap. It's random, yeah. Let's do 5 and add 0. Oh, now this is better. So this one charging him 36.34 dirhams. So we added. Now we can ask for the bill of that room, and that's number 6. It will ask now which room? Room 0 again, because room 1 has nothing. So now room 0, this is room 0, which 101, and has a garden view, and the cost is 100, and there is a service of 36.5 something. So this is the total cost of that room. I can check number 8, the status of our rooms. So I put number 8 and say, tell me what's going on with the rooms. I have now 2 rooms. The first room is occupied. The second room is vacant. And let me check out one guest, number 7, check out the guest. We will check room 0 because he paid. And now if we display the all rooms, you can see they are all vacant. So this is a very simple application, and we can do 9 to exit. So let's understand how this is created, and we will go through it step by step, and hopefully that will be useful. So we will start from the guest. So the guest class, sorry, I don't want this one to be the guest class. Yeah. You need to click here and then select the class, so it comes here. I just did like that. Okay, so let's bring this one here so we can look at the guest class. So this is the guest class, and make it bigger like this. So the guest class is very simple class. It has the first name, last name, age, phone number, and room. The room is a class, as you can see, which this class. So there is no association between the room and the guest. A room can be occupied by one guest at a time. 2 can be there, but the room registered with one person there at a time. But if it's become vacant, it can be assigned to someone else, and then become vacant and assigned to someone else, and continue like that. So there is a relationship between the guest and the room here. So this is the basic guest information. This method is assigning a room to that guest. So this the room will be this room here will be equal the room passed to this one, and then also we use the guest. The room has a method called assign a guest. We call that one as well, and make sure both of them on their record they have each other. So the guest is on the record of the room, and the room is on the record of the guest. So this way we are always having the data. And then this one just display that guest information, first name, last name, age, and phone number. So the guest is a very simple one. The room is also a very simple one. So it has this information about the room, and then this is the main constructor of the room. All the rooms are vacant at the beginning, and then they become occupied later. If we assign a guest to the room, and we can use the method, as you remember, we have method here called assign room. This assign room is calling assign guest. So if you come here, you will find this assign guest, which require the guest, and that will be changing this one here guest into the guest that's sent, and make the room not vacant. Okay. Checkout is the opposite. Just remove that guest from the room, so the guest will become null, and vacant become true, and then the service is cleared. So no service on that one. The method related to adding a service is just receive a service that has a price, has different thing, and then add it to this room. We have array list we're using here, as you can see. This is like a database of data that store all the services. So one room can order many services. They will order breakfast, then lunch, then they need some snacks and maybe other things, and all these things added to that room in an array list. And this is here being added as an array list, aggregated into there and become part of that room. So the services are assigned to the room because later we will build them as we do here. So get total bill, the total bill will get the room price, and then if there are any services here, we will add the cost of those services or the price to the bill, and then we'll display the total bill. And then we display that room information. Who is the guest, what is the room number, what is the floor, and the details of that room. So it's, again, another straightforward one. The service, room service, is simple one as well. We just have the service name, we have the price, we have the staff who is responsible of this service. Usually in hotel, put the staff into different service, to group them, say you do cleaning, you do food, you do things like that. So we just were thinking that way. So now this is a basic constructor, and then this is the display, the details of that service. And then the last one is the staff. Staff, again, is a simple one. It has a name, a job, salary, ID, and has a constructor, and we can display his information. So those 4 classes are done, and they're very simple. The main class is not complicated, but because I just added to it the menu and this random data creation, may look little complicated, but it's not really. So basically, we will be using some arrays to store the guest, to store room, to store the staff. This is like our database, which we store the record of everyone, the details of the guest, the details of the room, the details of the staffs. So these are all added there, and you can see the type of the first one is a guest, the second is a room coming from here, and staff, and then we calling them the array guests, the array rooms, the array staff. So these things will go in to add data. We'll add data to it, remove data from it, we will search it, because they are our record of the hotel. It's like the hotel book where you have all the data there. So we start asking the user to enter some data, and based on the data, the menu is displayed, and based on whatever he entered come those choices. We have a switch here. If he enter 1, then do this. If enter 2, do case 2, and things like that. I think using switch and case, hope you are already familiar with it, but it's very simple. You just, based on whatever the user will enter, will take the case associated with it, and there are many cases we have here, but they are very simple. When you explain the first 2, things become easy. So if he said 1 is creating a guest, and this here will do random guest name and random last name as well, first name and last name. This can be replaced by scanner input, user enter first name, store it in first name, and things like that. Age the same thing, phone number the same thing, and so on. So basically, I'm using the list, the array list size. If there is nothing in that array list, then the size is 0. Then I add to it 1. So guest, the first guest will be guest 1, first name. Second guest will be guest 2, and so on. And the age is put all 50. I like the number 50 for reasons. To do that, so that's 50, and then the guest. We create a guest using the new and pass to it the first name, last name, age, and phone number, which coming from here, and then we will add the guest to the list, to the guests storage, to the book. So this is considered the book where we write all the guest information, which coming from here. This is the one. So what we simply do, we'll add this guest we created here to the book of the guests using the method add in the array list, and then will be being created. Okay, that's done, and then we break. You need a break between those cases. But if the user enter number 2, do the room, the same thing. Room is again the same story. And then if we go to number 3, which create a staff, the same thing, create staff just to create random numbers. Then we use the new, we add all the data there, and then we add him to the list of staff. done. Then comes the last one, not the last one, the most important one is assigning guests to the room. And here we have already a room created, we have a guest created. So first it will ask us which guest you want to assign. So guest 0, for example, or guest 1 or guest 2, depends on how many guests we have. You enter the guest, and then it will ask you to which room the guest should be added, and then enter the room. Then it will check if those are really exist and they are in the guests record, they are there. If I can say and add him to room 20, I don't have room 20, or I don't have guest whatever. So it will check that one, and then based on that it will add the guest to the room, and using assign room here, and also will display the information on the screen saying this room being assigned to that room. Okay, and then it will give you invalid if you enter something wrong, saying I guess room 20, I don't have room 20. So that assigning guest to the room. Then comes ordering a service, very similar to that. So you need to know which room the service has requested, and it using a random way to select that room. So using random room, and then we'll add the cost of that room and associate the room, the service with that room. You remember in the room we have something called select. We have in the room something called service. If you look at the room, here is the room. We have something called add a service. So that's the one we will be using here to do that, which will be there, and then we will display. Now this one display the bill, and the bill is very simple one. You need to know the room, of course, and if there is no services added to that room, then the bill will be basically that room cost. But if there are, it will add, and we saw that one in the room or get the bill, this one here. And we said if there is no other things here, it goes through the loop, find nothing in the loop, so the room price will be the total of the room. So that will do. Check out the guest, which again you need to know which room you need to check out the guest, and then it will look at the index has to be more than 0, means there is a room in the list that you're asking for. You said you want to check out room 30, and there's no room 30. Then it will check. If there's no room 30, it will tell you there is the room there, or the room is already vacant. There is nobody using the room. It can be two things with the room. One, checking out the one, you check a room that there is nobody in it already. It's already checked, and so you get this else coming here, or you are checking out a room that doesn't exist, and then you get this message, invalid room index. So these are the things to do with checking out from the room. And then number 8, which display all the rooms, basically go into a loop and look at all the rooms we have. Sorry, this could have done it this week better. So it goes through all the rooms we have, current room in the rooms which here storage. It goes through all this and then display one by one the information of that room and the information of the guest in that room as well. And that's it. If you choose 0, it will stop the code. If you choose anything else, then it will tell you this is invalid. So it's a very simple application. As you can see, we simply have our classes, and we made a relationship between the guest and the room, and we made a relationship between the room and the service, and we made a relationship between the service and the staff to do. And using those relationships, we created our application. And the main class is simply a menu of things. Where is it? Sorry. Here's the main class. Just a menu to ask the user to select. Based on whatever select, it does the right thing, creating a class, randomize some data, then I create the class using the constructor, guest, creating a guest using a constructor guest, creating the room using constructor room, and so on, and creating a staff using constructor staff. These are just data you provide. And then you assigning the rooms. You need to know the room, the guest you want to assign to which room, and then based on if the room is available, you can assign him to. If the room is not available, you cannot assign him to. If the room is actually there is a room or there isn't a room, so it's just some validation here to make sure that we assign the guest to a room that is vacant and available. And then we order service, and again we need to make sure we're giving a service to a room that is available and occupied, not a vacant. If it's a vacant, then who will pay for that one? And then displaying the bill is just make sure the room is there and it was occupied, not really a vacant, and then we can display the bill of that room. But if the room is vacant, then there is no bill. The bill is zero and there's no customer is there. And then the last one is check out the guest. Again, we remove the guest from the room and remove the room from the guest. And this we do it when the room and the guest are really existing, and they both are occupied and they become vacant after that process. And number 8 is displaying everyone, just going through all the rooms and displaying the information of each room. What is that room, name and floor, whatever, who is the guest in that room and stuff like that. And that's how it is. It's not really complicated, and I hope you find this video useful. I don't sound okay today. It's Ramadan time, but I hope you understand me and the example was clear to you. Thank you.